Hey guys, Yankee here, and today I want to be giving my thoughts on the Tenchi Muyo franchise, sort of as a whole, my sort of standing on it. Because I want to start doing some videos on OVA 5, which is releasing right now. Uh, but I thought I'd make this video to sort of let people know where I sort of stand on things. Uh, so to start off, we're going to just sort of talk about how I was introduced to the series. Um, this was 2015-ish. I was just getting into anime at the time, and one of my favorite sort of Japanese artists is Suzuhito Yasuda. I hope I said the name right, and I hope I got it right. Suzuhito Yasuda. Yes, I have a Danmachi book over there. Anyway, I was looking at probably his My Anime List page or whatever, and saw that he had worked on a show called I Tenchi Muyo. And so I went to the page for it. I read the description of it, and the description of it was something along the lines of, hey, it's an anniversary series for Tenchi Muyo. It's like 20 years old now. And so I scrolled down and I see that there is a manga in my anime lists. Underneath the description of the show, they have like a little links. So if it's got a manga adaptation and stuff, that'll just be linked there on the page. So I saw that and I thought that it was a manga that had gone on for like 20 years and it got an anime adaptation. So I watched the first few episodes and I really hated the format because instead of being full 20-minute episodes, they were 3-minute shorts. I watched 3 or 4 of those and didn't care for it, so I dropped it and moved on. Not too long later, this was still 2015, I realized how I was a bit of an idiot, and that no, Tenchi Muyo wasn't just some long-going manga that just recently got an anime. It was an anime first, and it had come out in like '92, I believe. And so I decided to go and give that anime a try, which is Tenchi Muyo ryo-ohiki OVA 1, Season 1, whichever you want to say. So I went and I watched that, and I got 2 or 3 episodes in, and I just sort of fell off. I don't know. It just didn't keep my attention at the time. And this was maybe like summertime of 2015. But at the end of the year, like November, maybe September, November, somewhere in there, I wanted to just finish up some stuff that I had started. And so I decided to go back and pick up Tenchi Muyo OVA 1 because it was short. I was on like episode 3 out of 6, so I figured I'd finish that off real quick. And then around episode 4 or 5, I think the end of episode 4 is when Kagato shows up and kidnaps Ryoko. That's where I sort of it hooked me. I was at that point. I was hooked. I watched all of OVA 1, 2, 3. I watched Isekai no Seikeshi Monogatari. I watched GXP, and then I went on to watch some other stuff too. So that was sort of my strange introduction to the series. And now I'm going to sort of talk about the separate parts, because there's a few categories you can sort of put the series into. So we're going to start with the Kajishima-verse stuff, which is all the OVAs, GXP, and things like that. And I'm going to talk about those, because that's really where my interest in the series is. So let's start with the OVAs. I'm going to talk about 1, 2, and 3 first, and I'll talk about 4 probably towards the end, because I'm going sort of in the order I watched them in. OVA 1 is, in my mind, a perfect show. Those 6 episodes are great. I don't really know what else to say other than that. I don't really have many complaints about them, other than I don't think Kagato is a very good villain. I don't think Tenchi Muyo has any good villains, really. They're all just sort of boring. I think any character you created could replace Kagato, and we'd get the same sort of story. OVA 2 I like a lot, because I really like the sort of slice of life parts of anime and of harem anime especially. And this is sort of the show that really set what my sort of ideal harem show is. We got all the girls living with Tenchi. And they're sort of like a family, and I like that a lot. And not a lot of harem series really do that. Um, and that's just sort of the ideal setup for me because all the characters they don't always get along all the time, but you see them eating at dinner and stuff like that all together, and it's nice. I like that a lot. Um, so the slice of life parts of OVA 2 I really like. Ryoki, Ryoki, Ryo-ohiki getting a body I thought was fun. The Washu episode is one of my favorites, and Washu is probably my favorite character of the core Tenchi cast, right? She is the most interesting. I like her the most. Um, so OVA 2 is good. I think Dr. Clay, I believe is his name, is also a terrible villain. Um, Zero was neat. I know some people don't like how at the end of OVA 2 they sort of assimilate Ryoko and Zero. I think that was alright. I liked that. Um, and then that's pretty much it for OVA 2. That's sort of the bulk of it. OVA 3, this is where uh, things started to get a little shaky. I watched it immediately after OVA 2, and I didn't have a lot of gripes with it. I think it's fine. I think it has problems, but it's overall an alright show. I think the biggest problem is it feels like Kajishima expected to get more episodes. Like it feels like he was initially told that it would be 12 and then it got cut back to 6. Because you get like the first few episodes, though the first episode is a recap episode, and it really doesn't do the season any justice because you see how great those like the first OVA looks, and OVA 3 looks awful, awful. Kajishima's art style at sort of that time was not very good, but even that I can't blame entirely on him because just the anime itself looks terrible. I don't like how OVA 3 looks. But anyway, we get the recap episode at the start, and then we start getting introduced to some of Tenchi's other family members, right? We get Tenyo, she's introduced at the tail end of that episode, which is neat. He's just now sort of figuring out about his alien lineage, and we're seeing the family that he didn't even know about, because, his sister Tenyo is 80 years old at this point, and if he knew that, things would get a little weird. We meet Seto in this. Well, I met her in this. She had been in the True Tenchi novels and GXP already at this point. And we meet Tenchi's grandmother, who I can't remember her name, Irie. Um, Again, this is something people complain about a lot in OVA 3 is sort of the extended family. That's a big complaint for the series in general, which I get. But here in OVA 3, I don't mind it so much. The problem with that comes later on. We'll get to that. Uh, so this one we get some extended family stuff. We find out that Tenchi now has a fiance who sort of forces her way into the group, Noike, who I also like a lot. I know a lot of people don't like her, but I enjoyed her. Um, and we got a couple episodes with her, I believe. It's been a while since I've watched OVA 3. It's been a while since I watched any of these, really, a few years now. But we get a few episodes with her, and then we get some Mihoshi episodes. We get her brother and sort of his. I don't know how to explain it. He's come back to sort of take her away because he thinks that Tenchi is some unscrupulous guy taking advantage of her. And so we get him showing up with like a Death Star, and that's okay. But this is where it feels like suddenly Kajishima was told, okay, yeah, you gotta wrap this up because we go from that we get uh, Mihoshi's brother, whose name I don't know at all, um, shows up. He sends some goons down to fight like Aika and Sasami and Ryoko, and all those fights get done off screen, which at the time I thought was kind of funny, but it is kind of a bummer, especially Sasami's fight. I would have liked to see that. Um, and then we get, I don't know, it's rushed. It is a rushed mess. And then OVA 3 ends with the sort of really rushed God stuff, right? Kami Tenchi, people know who that is. A lot of people don't like it. I just wish it had been fleshed out better in OVA 3. Um, I think that it was set up well enough in OVA 1 and 2 that I didn't have a problem with the reveal that Tenchi was like this uh, god. Um, but I do wish that OVA 3 had more episodes. I think if it had been 12 or 15, I think it really could have been great. And that's sort of my thoughts on OVA 3. More episodes would have done it a lot better. Next up, I watched Isekai no Seikishi Monogatari. I really like this one. I think this is almost a perfect show. Kajishima has a problem where at the end of his shows, OVA 3 and Isekai no Seikishi Monogatari, we just get an info dump at the end, which is a problem. But I really like this show. I think Kenchi's fun. Um, I think the harem he has is fun. I don't really know what else to say. Again, I have a hard time saying things about shows that I really like. Like OVA 3 I had problems with, so I could point them out real easy. But Isekai no Sekeshi Monogatari, good show. I like it. I wish there was more, but I guess I'll maybe touch on that once we get to OVA 4 and stuff, if I remember. Next, I watched all of GXP, and keep in mind, I watched all of these in like a week or two. Like, I flew through these. GXP is probably, I don't know. I really like it a lot. I really liked it a lot at the time. Going back to it, I'm not so much of a fan, mainly because of NB, the little robot. I hate him. I wish he was gone forever. But GXP is fun. It definitely feels like AIC came up to Kajishima and said, "Hey, make a spin-off," and he just sort of slapped it together because we get like, "Oh yeah, Seina and Tenchi, they've known each other forever," but then you never had heard about him until this point. Oh yeah, Tenchi's cousin Kiriko, remember her? Obviously you don't because we just created her. Um, Stuff like that, but that's not completely unexpected in a spin-off, I guess. So we got that. Amane was fun. Ryoko Balta is one of the best character designs in the series. Um, she's great. The two eyebrows are sort of silly, um, but I love her design. I like Seina's gimmick that he is just incredibly unlucky, and the way that sort of plays into him finding a place at what is it, Galactic in the Galactic Police. My brain sort of fried there for a second. Anyway, the way that he uses his bad luck to just jump through space, and then suddenly all these pirates are chasing after him, and then the Galaxy Police show up and then arrest them. I think that's fun. Um, Santa is just I like him as a main character, um, and that's about it with XP. The light novels, I haven't read the light novels. There is a fan translation, a machine translation that's sort of been cleaned up. I haven't read those, and a lot of the stuff that I hear about them makes me not really interested anymore, especially the stuff that happens after the end of the anime, um, because it has to expand on what the anime was a lot, because the anime was like 25 episodes, and then the novels were 14 volumes to adapt like what the anime was. So there's a lot of added stuff. It ties in series like Duel, which I'll talk about in a moment. Um, but like I don't know, it's just the more I hear about the series, the less interested I am in the GXP novels. The next anime in the Kajishima verse that I watched was Dual Parallel Trouble Adventure. This is uh, from what I've heard, an Evangelion sort of parody almost, like a spoof, I guess. I don't know. I haven't watched Evangelion. Um, but it is about a boy who sees robots that nobody else can see, and then he ends up getting transported to an alternate reality where those robots exist and are fighting. It's a harem series. A lot of fun. It's only 12 episodes, uh, but it's a fun watch. It's got a great OP, um, and that's it the way it ties into Tenchi is sort of weird, but not so weird that I don't like it. Um, Basically, dual universe, like the fused universe at the end of the series, um, is an old Earth, if which is weird, but you know that the at this point at this point I knew that the Chosen were sort of experimenting, so it's not too strange to me that they just sort of copy and pasted Earth to do experiments on it. Um, but anyway, Duel's fun. The way it ties into Tenchi is a bit weird, but not mind-numbingly weird. I don't know. It's okay. The show's good. The tie-in's okay. Next show I watched is Photon. This is a prequel, sort of, to Isekai no Seikeshi Monogatari. From what I have sort of taken away from it, this is the planet that what do they call it? Geminar? Is that what it's called in the English title? Um, in my mind, Sandy Planet is Geminar just thousands of years ago. Um, we get it's it's a harem series. You should expect this at this point. That's all this series is harem stuff. Um, and it's set on an Earth that's just I don't know if it's Earth. Photon Earth is the name of the main character, and the planet is called Sandy Planet. There we go. Um, and it is about a boy who is going to find his friend from the same village as him who ran off because she fell in love with some like pop star. And then from there, an adventure ensues. It's a lot of fun, and I don't know, it's a fun prequel to Isekai no Sekeshi Monogatari. It's only 6 episodes. It gets to some weird dark spots towards the end, but it's good. I like that show a lot. Now, the ones that I don't really have much affinity for, the hentai, the Kajishima hentai that tie into the series, because why not? Everything he makes ties in together. The first one, Spaceship Agaruder, is a neat idea that would have been better as just a regular show. It's 4 episodes, and it got axed. Like it ends on a cliffhanger that's never getting resolved. Um, it's about a boy and the spaceship that raised him going on adventures and finding women and sleeping with those women. And it's a hentai, but with some neat sci-fi stuff going on in the background. Um, Gosenzo-san E is a less interesting one about a boy who has uh, magic gold semen, and he bangs his like great 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 grandmother. That's also something that happens a lot in this series, is sort of kind of incest, where it's just far enough away that you're not sure if it's weird, which I don't personally have a problem with, but it might scare off some people. But if you're watching this video, you probably know this already. Um, Gosenzo-san E, not great. Uh, Anata Dake Kanban, oh boy, Anata Dake Kanban wa. I don't know what this translates to. I should have looked that up. But basically, a kid moves into like his grandfather's house, and he finds a maid left for him, and he finds that his grandfather has sort of arranged marriages for him with multiple women. It takes place at the same school as Gosenzo-san E. At the very end, there is a ghost who is revived, and we see somebody wielding the Tenchiken. Um, I don't know why or who or how, and I don't think I'll ever know, but it ties in just a little bit. And that's it for the hentai. I don't really care about them. I've watched them once just to see how they tie in, and that's pretty much it. Now we're going to talk about Tenchi Muyo OVA 4. This is where my patience with the series is starting to sort of slip away. When did OVA 3 come out? Like 2004 or 5, I think is when the last episode came out. And then OVA 4 came out in 2017 to 2018, I think, maybe 2016 to 2017. Um, so a long gap, and it was only 4 episodes, and it was just exposition. There were parts of it that I liked a lot. Um, Tenchi meeting Minaho, his aunt, for the first time. That was nice. I liked that a lot. But half of each of the first three episodes was tying into the GXP novels. This very much felt like people say that anime are advertisements for sort of the source material. This felt like an advertisement for those GXP novels. We just get characters from them, talking about them, and that's half the episode. And also, it's a retread on OVA 3, which is not a big deal for me because it takes place during Rhea and Nobuyuki's wedding, I believe is his name. Um, Tenchi's father and his soon-to-be stepmother's wedding, which we saw at the end of OVA 3, but we sort of go back and take it a bit more slowly, like 3 episodes leading up to it. And then the fourth episode of OVA 4 is about Kenshi, and it ties into Isekai no Sekeshi Monogatari. We see Kenshi be born, we see him running around a little bit as he's older, but the bulk of that episode is just people talking about how they're going to have to send Kenshi to an alternate world to fight a big robot. Um, OVA 4, there's some neat stuff there. I like the Minaho stuff. And I like seeing young Kenshi, because Kajishima did a dojin. I want to talk about the dojins real quick right here, because I'm not going to cover them anywhere else. But Kajishima does dojins that sort of tie in and fill in some gaps and maybe show some stuff that didn't get to be shown. And one of those was sort of talking about how Kenshi's training went, why he is so good at the things he's good at. Um, and we see there that him and ryo-ohiki sort of grew up together, and it was really cute, and I would like to see more of that. And I'm hoping we get that in OVA 5. I haven't touched OVA 5 yet, so I don't know. And the last thing I want to talk about here is the true Tenchi Muyo novels. These are way old. These are like 90, I don't know, between OVA 3 and 4, so like 95, 96, 97, somewhere in there. I have all 3 of them. I've only read the first one, which I did a video on, which I'll maybe link in the description if I remember. The first one was good. I haven't read the other 2. I'm really looking forward to them. I just keep putting it off for some reason. Anyway, that's it with the Kajushima-verse stuff. That's the stuff that I like. That's the stuff that I'm interested in. It's not perfect, and especially like recently, some of the stuff that Kajushima's been doing, I'm not so into. But a lot of the old stuff I think is really good, and I like a lot. Next, we're going to talk about sort of the alternate universes. We're going to start with Tenchi Universe. I have only seen half of this show, and I hate it. I hate this show so much. My biggest problem with the show is that it came out after OVA 2. It got 26 episodes and 2 movies, and in the 12 episodes that I watched of this show, the characters are less interesting and less developed than the OVA characters. So by the end of OVA 2, those characters were more fleshed out, felt more real, and I care about them a lot more than any of the characters in Universe. When I went into Universe, my expectation was OVA 1 is a great base, the characters are perfect, we're going to take those and we're going to just give them a TV show for 26 episodes. That's not what I got at all. Ryoko is no longer this 1,000-year-old alien pirate. She's now like a 17-year-old kid who just shows up on Earth. Mihoshi had her whole character sort of, I don't know. She's stupid in this. She was sort of ditzy in OVA 1 and 2, but she pulled through when she needed to. And in this, she's just dumb. The competent side of her that was in those first 2 shows has been given to a whole nother character, Kione, who a lot of people like. I don't like her at all. I can't stand her. Washu. Let's talk about Washu. Washu is my favorite character. She is Ryoko's mother. She invented ryo-ohiki. She's a great scientist. In this, she's just a mad scientist. She has no relationship to Ryoko. Ryo-ohiki is just an animal that turns into a ship. There are other ones like him out there in this show. Oh man, they ruined Washu in this, and I hate the show for it. Yeah, no, this is a bad show. I don't understand how anyone can like this more. I don't understand. A couple things that I did like about it. The other space pirate character, that Ryoko had known. I don't remember what her name was. The episode with her was fun. I liked her design. Ken Oki, her spaceship is stupid and I hate it. And then one episode that what episode was it? There was like a winter day, maybe it was a Christmas episode. Um, but in that episode, like Tenchi got sick, and then Sasami went out and was like crying over it, and sort of like cried on. I forget how it goes exactly, but it was a really good episode. And at the end of it, it ends with Tenchi not Washu, Tenchi, Yosho, and Nobuyuki visiting his mother's grave. That was the best episode I saw of that show. It's the only good thing I have to say about that show is that episode. Um, but yeah, I don't like it at all. And I especially hate how instead of building on the universe that was created in those first two OVAs, we get barely any universe stuff at all in the stuff that I watched, and instead we got time travel. There was time travel episodes when I dropped that show. Why? Why? I don't want to see Tenchi and them going back to like to the past. It's stupid. I hate universe. It's terrible. Uh, Tenchi in Tokyo, I haven't watched at all, so I'm just gonna just say that I haven't watched it at all. Tenchi Muyo, I talked about this at the start. I've watched a couple episodes of it. I really didn't like the format. Um, at the time, there was recuts of it on YouTube that had cut it into a 12-episode show, which I had planned on watching eventually, but once that got licensed, those got taken down. So I haven't watched. I passed those first few episodes, and I probably won't. And next up, we've got Magical Girl Pretty Sammy. Sasami is the most popular character in Japan, and she's spawned all kinds. Excuse me, I burped there a little bit. She's spawned all kinds of spin-offs. She's had the Magical Girl Pretty Sammy OVA, which is what I watched. 3 episodes of that. It was okay. Um, yeah, that's all I can say. I don't really remember a whole lot about it. I just remember that Uh, in this version, she is Tenchi's younger sister, and she may also be in love with Tenchi. Um, okay. I didn't watch the series. I didn't watch the other Magical Girl Sasami series. That's pretty much it, though. That's almost a half hour of me talking about this, just rambling on about it. Um, yeah, I don't really know what else to say. That's it. That's the end of this video. If you watch till the end, you know where I stand on a lot of the stuff in this franchise, I guess. I didn't go into too many details because there was sort of a lot to just run over real quick. Um, but yeah, that's it. That's the end of this video. Uh, Soon I'm going to watch the first episode of OVA 5, and then I want to make a video talking about it. And I'll be able to talk a bit more in detail about the actual episodes themselves, because I'm not sitting here doing this, or sitting here going through a whole list of stuff. Anyway, guys, if you made it this far, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.